So I figured I would finally do a video on my sack. That's SAK, which is an acronym that stands for Swiss Army Knife. This particular Swiss Army knife is the Victorinox Classic SD. I'm not sure what the SD stands for, but that's what model this is. This model features a few different tools. It has a pair of scissors, which is why I bought this knife, a very small pen blade, a nail file with a little screwdriver, I guess you could use it for, or to dig out stuff from under your nails. And then it has a pair of tweezers and a toothpick. And somehow I haven't lost the toothpick yet. I'm sure it's going to happen. So starting with why I bought this knife, I bought it for this pair of scissors so that I would always have a pair of scissors, because the scissors tend to disappear at work and I need to cut the tips off of icing bags to decorate my donuts. So this way I always have a pair of scissors. These scissors work just fine for what I intended to use them for. I imagine they would also work pretty well for cutting threads off of clothing and other small things. You wouldn't really want to cut a sheet of paper with these, although I'm sure you could. It would just take forever. They came way sharp enough to cut pretty much anything I've tried to cut with them, and they work really well. The knife blade itself, I haven't really used all that much. I've used it maybe 2 or 3 times since I bought this knife, which was, I don't know, like half a year ago now. So I've used it maybe 3 or 4 times in like 6 months. It's made out of an incredibly stainless steel that holds an edge kind of okay. It's not great. It's certainly not up there with super steels or anything, but it won't rust, or at least it won't rust easily. It comes pretty sharp, just like most Victorinox knives. It is sharpened very well. Of course, the blade stock on that little pen blade is really thin. In fact, the nail file is way thicker than the knife, and I would have preferred it to be the other way around. Comes with this little key ring on it, and I actually do normally keep this little knife on my keys as a little keychain knife, because that's the best spot I've found for it. I've also tried carrying it in my 5th pocket or watch pocket or change pocket, or, you know, sunflower seeds pocket, whatever you put in that pocket, and I didn't like that as much as just keeping it on my keys. This right here is the tweezers, and they're probably my second most used part of this knife. I've used these to pull splinters out, pull hairs out and everything, and they work actually pretty well, considering that they're just little, like, you know, little tweezers. They work a lot better than the plastic ones we have in the first aid kit at work. The toothpick I have used, it seems to work pretty well. You know, you're gonna lose it. That's just a part of owning a Swiss Army knife, is eventually you lose the toothpick, but for right now I still have it. So I bought this at Walmart for like, I think it was $11. It was either $11 or $12 for this little knife, just to have a pair of scissors. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem spending, you know, $10, $11, $12 on a nice little pocket tool to have all the time. So, you know, if you're looking for a really little knife, if you live in one of those, you know, strict areas where you're not allowed to have any really like larger knives or anything that's, you know, a lot more useful as a knife, you can get this little knife, and then you have a pair of scissors and a nail file and some other, you know, little tools to use. So that's kind of cool. And overall, I would, you know, recommend you pick up this knife or some variation of Victorinox knife, just because they're so classic.